Welcome, and thank you for joining me in today's important discussion about heart health. Most people believe heart attacks make themselves known with sudden, dramatic symptoms: chest pain, numbness in the left arm, and an immediate collapse. It's what we've seen in movies and what many expect when something goes wrong. But the reality, especially after the age of 60, is that the most dangerous cardiac events happen quietly. They build up slowly, often without warning, while you're asleep. No time to call for help, no dramatic moment to signal danger. And here's the thing that surprises most of my patients. These events are often triggered by something ordinary, something unremarkable, something you did just before turning off the light. For over 26 years, I've been a cardiac surgeon, repairing hearts and arteries, and seeing firsthand the same preventable patterns repeat themselves over and over in patients who had no idea they were putting themselves at risk every single night. What if I told you that some of your evening habits could be silently loading the gun for a potential heart attack while you sleep? In tonight's video, I'll show you 5 habits that are quietly putting your heart at risk. And then, I'll give you the simple steps to reverse these habits, one evening at a time. Let's dive in with something many of us are unaware of. Your cardiovascular system doesn't take a break when you fall asleep. Instead, it shifts gears. In a healthy body, this is a time of reset. Your blood pressure naturally drops by 10-20%, your heart rate slows down, and your arteries relax. It's maintenance in action, and it's the reason we feel rested after sleep. But after 60, this system becomes less reliable. Blood vessels begin to stiffen, pressure regulation becomes less precise, and certain hormones that previously protected the heart at night weaken. Suddenly, the margin for error becomes very small. Imagine this. During the day, your body can compensate for irregularities in blood pressure or stress. At night, though, many of these backup mechanisms are offline. Your body is running on a skeleton crew. That's why the hours between midnight and 6 a.m. are the most dangerous for people over 60. It's not the morning rush or the afternoon fatigue. It's the quiet hours, the ones when no one is watching, but your habits still are. And here's where it gets truly eye-opening. What happens during these dangerous hours is largely determined by what you do before you go to bed. Let me ask you something. What time did you eat dinner last night? And what was on your plate? It's a question I ask every patient, and a surprising number of people over 60 answer somewhere between 8 and 10 p.m. A full meal, maybe pasta, rice, meat, or something fried, followed by sitting on the couch and heading to bed soon after. It makes sense, right? Busy day, family schedules, the habit of a lifetime. But from a heart health perspective, this is a damaging routine. Eating a heavy meal late at night puts stress on your heart in ways most people don't even realize. And this is where I want to get really clear about why these habits matter. When you eat a large meal, your digestive system demands a significant increase in blood flow, forcing your heart to pump harder. Your blood pressure rises. Triglycerides, those fats in your blood, spike sharply in the hours after eating, and then you go to bed. Your body is still digesting while your heart is supposed to be winding down for the night. These demands are at odds with one another, and for anyone over 60, especially with any arterial stiffness, this conflict can have real consequences. You might be surprised to learn that a late-night heavy meal is one of the most underestimated risks your heart faces. Studies have shown that eating within 2 to 3 hours of sleep is linked to elevated blood pressure at night, higher acid reflux rates, which can mimic cardiac symptoms, and an increased risk of cardiovascular events while you sleep. So, how do we fix this? It's simple. Finish your main meal by 6, 9, or 7 p.m. Keep late meals light, consisting of proteins and vegetables, not heavy fats. If your dinner schedule looks like what I just described, you may not have connected it to your heart health. But that's exactly what I'm here to do, to show you how simple, small changes can protect you. The next habit I want to address is one that many people overlook entirely: the timing of your blood pressure medication. For people over 60, especially those with high blood pressure, this is incredibly important. If you take blood pressure medication, you're likely used to taking it in the morning. But did you know that the timing of your medication can significantly impact your health, particularly when it comes to cardiovascular events? For most people, blood pressure follows a predictable curve through the day. It rises in the morning, peaks in the afternoon, and dips at night. However, many people over 60, particularly those with hypertension, do not experience that nighttime dip. Their blood pressure either stays elevated or actually spikes in the early morning hours. This condition is called nocturnal hypertension, and it's far more dangerous than daytime high blood pressure. Why? Because while you sleep, your arterial walls are relaxed and unprepared for a surge of pressure. A pressure spike at 3 a.m. hits the arterial walls much harder than one at 3 p.m., and it's more likely to cause serious damage, like rupturing a vulnerable plaque inside a coronary artery or triggering clot formation. If you take your medication only in the morning, it may wear off by the time you need it most. And if you forget to take it, you're leaving yourself completely exposed during the most vulnerable hours of the night. What should you do about this? It's simple. Talk to your doctor about the timing of your blood pressure medication. Ask if it should be taken at night instead of in the morning. This conversation takes only a couple of minutes, but it could save your life. In fact, there's strong evidence, including the hypertension treatment trial, showing that evening dosing of blood pressure medication can significantly reduce cardiovascular risks during sleep. That's not a small adjustment, it's a potentially life-saving one, and yet most people over 60 have never had this conversation with their doctor. This is not a minor detail. In cardiology, timing can make the difference between life and death, and many patients aren't even aware that it's something to consider. Now let's talk about something most people find annoying but don't realize is a serious health concern: snoring. It's common for people to laugh it off or nudge their partner when they snore, but I treat snoring as a serious cardiac warning sign until proven otherwise. In my 26 years of practice, I've encountered sleep apnea in many older patients, often undiagnosed and untreated. It's estimated that over 30% of older adults suffer from some form of sleep apnea, and the majority have no idea what it's doing to their heart. During an apnea episode, your breathing stops for 10 to 40 seconds or longer, sometimes dozens of times per hour. Each time your oxygen level drops, your brain registers it as a crisis, triggering a stress response, a spike in adrenaline and cortisol, an increase in heart rate and blood pressure. Your heart is jolted awake while the rest of you stays asleep. Imagine that happening 30, 40, or 50 times a night. The cardiovascular effects are not subtle effects. In fact, sleep apnea is directly linked to a threefold increase in the risk of heart attack. It also contributes to irregular heart rhythms, including atrial fibrillation, which can dramatically raise your stroke risk, and it accelerates the stiffening of your arterial walls. The worst part, you're often completely unaware that any of this is happening. The signs of sleep apnea are not always obvious, and many people dismiss them as nothing more than mild inconveniences. Loud snoring is an obvious clue, but other signs include waking up with headaches, feeling exhausted despite a full night's sleep, frequent nighttime urination, a dry mouth upon waking, or a sensation of choking. If any of these sound familiar, you need to talk to your doctor about a sleep study. If you snore heavily, if you wake up exhausted, or if anyone has told you that you stop breathing in your sleep, getting evaluated for sleep apnea is absolutely crucial. It's not optional, especially if you're over 60. Now let's address another common habit that many people don't realize is affecting their heart: dehydration. It seems logical, right? You don't want to wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, so you avoid drinking fluids before bed. But here's the problem. Mild dehydration, especially overnight, is a significant risk for your cardiovascular system. When you go to bed even slightly dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker and more viscous. Thicker blood doesn't flow as freely through your vessels. For younger, healthy cardiovascular systems, this may not be a big deal, but for those over 60 dealing with arterial stiffness and plaque, it's a different story. As you sleep, your heart rate naturally slows, and blood circulation slows down too. Now imagine slow-moving, thickened blood in arteries that are already narrowed due to age or plaque buildup. This combination of dehydration, slow circulation, and vessel disease increases the likelihood of forming blood clots, which can lead to heart attacks or strokes. It's one of the reasons cardiovascular events are more likely to occur during the early morning hours. But there's a simple fix to this problem: drink a full glass of water before bed. It doesn't need to be a large amount, just 8 ounces. This ensures your blood stays thin enough to flow freely through your body while you sleep. And if you get thirsty in the middle of the night, keep a glass of water by your bedside. That slight thirst is your body signaling that it needs something, and your heart will thank you for giving it the hydration it needs. Let's move on to something many people overlook: the temperature of their bedroom at night. Most of us think about bedroom temperature in terms of comfort, but did you know that your heart actually has a preferred temperature range for optimal functioning during sleep? When the room is too warm, above about 22 degrees Celsius, 72 degrees Celsius, your body has to work harder to dissipate heat. This causes your blood vessels to dilate, your heart rate to stay elevated, and your body to sweat, which can lead to dehydration. All of these factors put additional strain on your heart. Not only that, but your sleep quality suffers. You spend less time in the deep, restorative stages of sleep that help your heart recover overnight. On the other hand, when the room is too cold, below 16, 17 degrees, 60, 62 degree, it causes vasoconstriction, meaning your blood vessels tighten to preserve body heat. This increases blood pressure and forces your heart to work harder to push blood through your arteries. For anyone with existing coronary artery disease or high blood pressure, this can be a serious issue. So, what's the ideal temperature for your bedroom? Studies suggest the optimal range for sleep and cardiovascular health is between 18 to 12 to 65 72 degrees. This is the sweet spot where your body stays comfortable, your vessels remain relaxed, and your heart can maintain a steady, low heart rate as you rest. It's a simple adjustment. Adjust the thermostat or open a window briefly to ensure your room stays within this range. These may seem like small, simple changes, but when you combine them, they add up to a significant improvement in your heart health. In fact, what I'm describing is the heart-safe evening routine that can protect your cardiovascular system and help ensure your heart stays healthy as you age. The great thing is, it doesn't require drastic changes to your life, just small, smart adjustments. But here's the key. To make it work, consistency is crucial. In the next segment, I'll walk you through a step-by-step plan for implementing these habits and creating your own heart-safe evening routine. You'll see just how easy it can be to incorporate these changes into your life without feeling overwhelmed. If you take this seriously, the payoff for your heart health could be huge. Now that we've covered the key habits affecting your heart health at night, let's put them all together into a simple, practical routine. It doesn't require major lifestyle changes, just a few small adjustments that can make a big difference for your heart. Start by ensuring you have your main meal between 6 and 7 p.m. Keep it balanced with lean proteins, vegetables, and a moderate portion of carbohydrates. Avoid heavy, high-fat meals close to bedtime. The idea is to give your heart at least 3 to 4 hours to settle before you go to sleep. This gives your body enough time to digest your meal without interfering with your heart's natural nighttime recovery process. By 7 p.m., drink a glass of water and take any prescribed medications, especially your blood pressure medication. If you've never asked your doctor about the timing of your medication, now is the time to do so. Evening dosing may significantly reduce cardiovascular risk during sleep, and a simple conversation with your doctor could make all the difference. Between 8 and 9 p.m., take time to unwind, read, take a gentle walk, or have a calm conversation. Avoid screens, especially bright phone screens, which can suppress melatonin and make it harder for your nervous system to relax before sleep. By 9 p.m., prepare your bedroom. Set the temperature to between 18 and 22 degrees and 65, 72 degrees Celsius. Adjust your blankets and make sure your room is comfortable for sleeping. Place a glass of water on your nightstand to stay hydrated throughout the night. Finally, by 10 p.m., aim to be in bed. If you snore or have been told you stop breathing during your sleep, try sleeping on your side instead of your back. This small change can reduce sleep apnea episodes and improve your heart health over time. By now, you have a clear action plan, a simple, heart-safe evening routine that can protect your cardiovascular system without disrupting your life. But here's the truth. The most important part isn't knowing what to do, it's actually doing it. The question you need to ask yourself is, will you commit to this routine tonight? Not next week, not after your checkup, but tonight. Remember, these 5 habits are not drastic changes. They're small adjustments that can add up to a big difference for your heart. A reasonable dinner at a reasonable hour, proper hydration before bed, evening medication at the right time, sleep apnea evaluation if necessary, and the ideal bedroom temperature, all of these things are simple but essential. You don't need to overhaul your entire life, just improve your evening routine, and your heart will thank you. Finally, I want to hear from you. Which of these habits do you recognize in yourself? I bet at least 2 or 3 hit close to home, but now you know what to do about it. Share this video with someone in your life. someone who may not realize how their nightly habits are affecting their heart. Let's help others protect their hearts just like we're doing for ourselves. Thank you for watching, and take care of yourself and your heart.